Sometimes it gets better. Or at least a little easier. Some people can look back at what they thought was going to crush them, and they can see the joyous moments, the way that they're stronger, or at least they can appreciate the beauty of having loved and lost. Ellie from The Last of Us is not one of these people. Ellie can't get over some things about her life. Even before The Last of Us 2 begins, she understandably suffers from massive survivor's guilt. She can't get over the fact that she lived when so many others died, and in some cases in her stead. In Ellie's head, she should have gone out in a romantic fashion with her first love Riley in the prequel story Left Behind, where two young lovers both get bit, make a vow to die together.
Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
But Ellie lives. Or she should have died in the hospital bed where...
My life would have fucking mattered.
But to analyze the Ellie from The Last of Us 2, we need to briefly go back to the first game. First, we meet her as a young, quippy, idealistic young woman with a firm sense of right and wrong. She has a sense of duty towards a potential cure, and she's ready to throw herself into the fray in order to do what's right. She's sad about those lost, but nonetheless still a joyous person in the context of a horrible world.
Oh, why are these all stuck together? I'm just fucking with you. Bye-bye, dude!
We can see the beginning of the grinding down, numbing out of that personality after the winter chapter in the first game. Both after the tragic death of the two brothers Sam and Henry that Ellie and Joel had befriended along the way. And then after that meeting up with David, a heavily implied pedophile and cannibal who leads his own group. She has to defend herself in the most gruesome way imaginable and kills the first person in the story that she knew by name. Later, in the last chapter, Spring, she is shown to have become unresponsive, apathetic, depressive.
Ellie! Ellie! Did you hear me?
No.
Yeah, once we're done with this whole thing, I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar. Yeah, I reckon you'd really like that. What do you say, huh? Ellie, I'm talking to you.
Huh? Oh. Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you just kind of seem extra quiet today.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not... It's fine.
Joel, on the other hand, is just happily moving along, trying to cheer her up. But Ellie is starting to realize that even if she knew that the world was a messed up place before, she's now realizing that it might be worse than that. And that the world is unfair, cynical, sinister, devious. She's beginning to grow up in the worst possible way. She's being taught that there can never be a safe place, a place where you can let your guard down physically, or more important, emotionally. If you're anything like me, you might have been brought up with loving parents who taught you how to act fairly in this world. You were taught to make sense of things and see things from different perspectives. You liked school just fine, reading and studying. Then you might have come to high school while all of this was ripped away by people who seemed to just act out of malice. They seemed to find joy in others' suffering and made fun of school, reading, and most of the things that you thought were more or less universal, that you thought that everybody enjoyed in some way or another. This might have hardened you in ways you couldn't even imagine at the time. Then, a couple of years later, one of your grandparents might die from cancer way too young, even for a granddad. A disease that is anything but fair, makes no sense, and comes and goes seemingly as it wants. Just like in the world of The Last of Us, death is one of the only certainties of life, but there are very few tools that we get to figure out how to deal with it. Deal with this feeling, this something, this nothing. Maybe festers is too graphic of a word. Maybe it's more like dislocating your shoulder so that it never really feels right ever again, and it never lets you forget it. So how do you fix what's broken? How do you repair the damage done? Maybe like Joel, you can find a replacement for that which was lost, a surrogate daughter where he can make right all the things that he should have done or didn't have the time to do.
Hey there. So fucking cool.
Maybe like Abby, you need redemption. When Abby thought that revenge was what she needed, what she really needed was to help others, just like her dad used to do. Of course, she could only dream of blood and death, if that's all that she was. After she helps those she used to think were her enemies, Yara and Lev, she sees him happy for the first time since he died, because deep down, she knew that only now would he be smiling down on her. Maybe, like Tommy, revenge overwhelms you. Tommy's arc in this story is the most heartbreaking to me. The first time we meet him in the first game, he's somewhat redeemed, at least in his own eyes, for his past sins as an outlaw with Joel.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you?
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me!
It wasn't worth it?
But by the end of The Last of Us 2, he's become this mean, old, bitter thing who's so obsessed that he has become harder and harder to love.
Town's good? Maria good?
She's fine. We're taking some time apart.
Sorry.
And he's projecting all that hate on the people in his life who want to help, but can't, because he takes it out on them.
What a joke.
Because he can't let it go.
Maria, I'm headed to Seattle. I wish I could let it go, but I can't.
Maybe, like Ellie, you don't know what to do. Ellie has such a hard time letting go of her past that she can't even think about a future. She can't get comfortable in her own skin, describing it as burning. She stays out all day just so she doesn't have to be around people, and even when she tries her hardest, the world literally slams a door in her face. I don't know if this is what the writers intended, and I don't even know if this is what I genuinely believe the game was about, or the story was about, but I can't help feeling like it was about a lot of things. Maybe it's about replacing what's lost. Maybe it is about redemption. Maybe it's about obsession. Maybe it's about moving on, if not for yourself, then the people around you. Or maybe, like with Ellie, it's about how sometimes it just doesn't get better.
Det går ju att prova lite grann.
Ja.
Det blir ju inte dammsuga hela huset, men... Vad heter det?
Men herregud så hemska ben jag. Alltså det är det fulaste jag har sett genom mitt liv. Och ändå är det mina.
Ja, de har blivit lite klena kan man ju säga.
Pappa han tog i för lite när han gjorde benen.